Hey, what's up, guys? What's up? What's up? Hey, today we're gonna talk about Carson King. We're gonna talk a little bit about Demi Moore and her confession, and we're also gonna discuss my boys because it's the weekend. We're one day away, and then we're gonna talk about the hate you give. Ooh wee! A lot of y'all give a lot of hate. Hey, just remember this Red Tape Podcast. I'm your host, Demerious Nelson. This is brought to you by For the One Media, where we move progressively forward in a conservative way. Y'all stay tuned. All right, guys, we want to start with a little story. This young man raises a sign up at college ESPN College Game Day, and on the sign it says Venmo for beer. Now, America responds as we always do when we see someone in need, and they end up Venmoing this guy over $1.14 million. All right, 1.1. 24-year-old guy Carson King in Iowa. I think he's an Iowa State fan, rooting on his team, held up a silly sign. And guess what he turned around and did? The 24-year-old security guard who was at the game turned around and gave the money to the hospital, his hospital in Iowa. The thing was a children's hospital. Man, that's amazing. We all grinding because we want to make millions, most of us. I know I do. I would like to. But this young man holds up a sign and gets blessed. Blessed with over 1.1 million. I don't even know how many times I can say that. I might need to go out there and hold up a sign myself. But that's not even the miracle. The miracle is this guy turns around and gives the money away, knowing that he could use it. And then Anheuser-Busch said that they would match it. They didn't match it, sad to say, because, as we know, we have people that go back in your past. The devil goes back in your past. And sometimes in your mind, he puts things in there to say, hey, you remember when you did that? Up, and it messes your confidence up. Or you should have thought about that time, and throws you off. And now you can't even enjoy the good deed or the blessing because the chaos, the king of confusion has come to you and tried to tear you down. This young man, 24 years old, they went back in his past when he was 16 years old, and somebody in the media world found some racist tweets because it's like, we got to get this guy. He's doing too good of a deed to be all good. So we got to find something about this guy. And they found something, just like they would if it were you. We don't have to even go that far back. We can go to yesterday and find something that you've done. We can go to this morning and find something you've done. Because, see, when you believe what I believe, your thoughts count too. That's why you ask for Christ, because there's nothing you can do good enough on this earth besides accepting him to be good. Well, to accept him as your Lord and Savior, to escape this earth with your socks on. That's all you can do. There's nothing you can do good enough on this earth. It's the bottom line of what I'm saying. That is it. There's nothing you can do. So with people knowing that, they say we got to find something on this 24-year-old young man. He has to do something. Now, the impressive thing is they didn't find anything close to his age. They had to go back to when he was 16 to find something. Almost 10 years ago, 8 years ago, to find something in his past that he said was wrong. Or multiple tweets that were racist or along the lines of being racist. You know how we do. Now, as a black man in America, you know I don't condone racism. If I see racism, I see hate, and it's directed towards me in a way that is detrimental. You could talk from the sidelines behind the fence, but if you're in my face, then it's gonna be detrimental to your health, or maybe both of us, because you may be bad enough to take me out, or I might just take you out. But one thing is for certain: if you come in my face and you trying to create harm because of the hate you give, then guess what I'm gonna give back? Some righteous hate, because I'm coming for you. So this young man decides to give the money away, which should be the best part of it. Because people who have discernment know, but as you know, people who have discernment know that it don't always work that way in this world. When you do a good deed, be looking out for somebody to tear you down. When you bless somebody, be waiting for somebody to spit on your name. Because that's how it go in the world. That's how it works. And they want to do that because they're like, man, we can't allow this guy to keep doing this. See, it ain't even the people that you see. You got to think a little deeper. I know we got people thinking about spiritual realms and, the soul, but you got to really understand the spiritual world. When you see people doing heinous crimes, now they're still going to be held accountable because they chose to do those actions. But there are people behind them manipulating them to push them over the edge. See, we all live on the edge. We're all on the edge of doing something. We're all on the edge of being in real trouble. We all live on that edge. I know a lot of y'all say, I don't live on the edge. I'm just living right and righteous, and that's great if you do. But for the rest of us, we all have some type of issue. We all have something that we've done. And Carson King done something, and then he came out and asked for forgiveness for when he was 16 years old. He's not even old enough to have a good thought. Now, you should be held accountable if they found it at that age. But to see what the man did at 24 years old versus 16 tells a different story. And if it doesn't tell a different story, it should make you think like we forgive him because he did this. And even if he didn't do this deed, we should still forgive him. Because if his heart isn't right, it had to be right in that moment because he decided to do something else. Y'all remember the story of the Grinch? The Grinch had a diabolical plan of ruining their Christmas. And then he seen that the little girl, regardless of how hard his heart was, turned his heart around when he seen that he took everything from him because he was so blind in his mind that he couldn't see. He was so blind in his mind that he couldn't see. He couldn't see the good for the hate. This young man at one point had some hate in his heart, probably. Because if you say something racist, you had to have some type of hatred towards somebody. I don't know what group he was aiming it towards, but he had something in his heart. But he also had something else in his heart, and that was to do a good deed. And he did a good deed, and that should have been it. But that's never it in America. That's never it when you're dealing with humans. They're not going to let you do good because good ain't good enough, and the best is nothing to people around here because they want to see you burn for everything, especially if you're doing bad, it's all good, man. All you like the rest of us. But when you're standing for something, everybody around you going to do their best to tear you down. Now, that shouldn't cause you to be paranoid or having anxiety. It should just make you say, that's the cost of trying to be better. When you try to be better in this life and do better, things happen. People don't like you, and you got to live with it. And old Carson King, I want to salute the young man because he came out and apologized for something in his past that people didn't even have to know about. I mean, now it's in the public realm because it's on Twitter. He could have erased it and nobody ever found it, but he didn't. Because obviously he moved on from that moment. Because we are allowed to have moments. We all mess up. We all mess up every single day. And you're like, I do good. I live a good life. I treat people right. I don't have any issues. And then you go home and you know what you do behind closed doors. We don't have to even talk about it. You know what you say when you get home about the people you work with, or your mama, or your dad, or your sisters, or your coworkers, or your neighbors, or yourself. You're like, well, I'm just being harmful to myself. That's the worst type of harm because when you are crazy enough in your mind to harm yourself, then what do you do to everybody else? I always ask people that. It's like as long as he harm himself, he's not harming anybody else, but somebody loved that person, regardless of how mentally unstable he is. Somebody does. So let's remember that. Let's salute Carson King for the good deed that he did and forgive him for his past because we are America. Because like I said, we can look in your yesterday and find something to get on you about. And if you can't handle it like this young man handled it, then I can only imagine. So this young man showed resolve. He showed resolve in the moment, and I like it. He didn't have to go out there and apologize, but he said, nonetheless, I'll do it. Nevertheless, I'll go out there and right my wrongs by saying, forgive me. 10 days of fame, and in 10 seconds, his life almost ruined. But it won't be because people are going to stand up as they do, and they're going to support this young man. And hopefully Anheuser-Busch does the right thing and help him out because this man's a security guard. He didn't have to give that money away. Just imagine all y'all crying and bickering and talking about other people who got money and talking about they don't give enough away. This young man don't have nothing. He gave it all away. Think about that. Y'all should be saluting this man. Just like, but it just, people don't like to see good, man. They don't like to see good. Hey, y'all make sure y'all check in, tune in to the Red Tape Podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher. If you want to Venmo me some money, please do. I'll take it. And I'm going to do something good with it too, right? I'm going to do something good with like keeping this show going. No, I'm going to do something good with it. See, the only reason why I really work so hard to do these things because I always pray and ask God to bless me because I do want to be a blessing to other people. I'm comfortable. I have what I need, but I want more so I can do more. That's been my thing. I want more so I can do more. My sister had this great idea and has implemented a plan to, help kids in school, and I'm going to get behind that. My boy, he gives scholarships away. I want to continue to help with that. I got friends everywhere around me that want to do good deeds because I try to surround myself with people that have this. We don't have to have the same vision, but we have thoughts of doing the same thing. And that's being great for the community. I always talk about that. So I briefly want to talk about Demi Moore because it's just something that I've seen, man. I don't know the whole story. And I know I tell y'all to get the facts before you have an opinion. But I know she went on the show and she stated that the night before she got married, she cheated on her husband, to her soon-to-be husband, the night before she got married. So that little bit right there is enough for me to say, some things you got to keep to yourself. Now, if it's on your chest, on your heart, it's burning you up, you say it. I don't know the context of the whole situation, but some things should be left alone. If that young man knows, talk to him about it. Ask for forgiveness, and if it bothers you enough. If it bothers you that bad, ask for forgiveness. You should ask for forgiveness anyway because you're getting ready to marry somebody and something happened. Now, we all made mistakes, and I'm not here to condemn that lady for that. I'm just saying that some things are better left unsaid in public. And that's just one of those things that I said that should be left unsaid in public. He's like, just let it go. Because now you got a daughter or two, you got family, you got kids. They don't need to know all that. Because sometimes people take things the wrong way. And your kids can see what you're doing, like, well, if mom did it, and this has been I've been looking up to her this long, then I know it's okay if I do it. Y'all all know that situation where you see your kid, you see your dad or your mom or somebody see you, and you're like, man, they gave me the go ahead. I'm all in. And like, that wasn't even the point of me telling you the story that I used to drink all the time in front of my parents and kids. Like, mom, you did it. Because your kids do that to you, just like you did to your parents. They'll be like, you did it, so why can't I? Well, because it's not the right thing to do, okay? All right? I know I cuss sometimes, right? But one thing I don't do is do it in front of my mama or my dad, all right? I might have slipped one or two times, but when it slipped, boy, because I have so much respect for them, whoo, it bothers me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, ma. Oh, dad, I'm sorry. People are like, well, why you just don't be yourself, man? Because I respect my parents, Jack. And that's what we got to do. So as parents, let's respect our kids. And some things don't need to be said because we shouldn't be trying to be their friend. Now, this wasn't even directed towards her. Her kids, it was a question, probably she answered. And that's okay. But I'm saying some things you got to leave alone. Because our kids are watching. It don't matter how grown they are. You can see your dad. If you got a stand-up dad, a stand-up mom, you like, man, I like that way mama do that. I like the way daddy do that. I like the way granny. I like the way whoever took care of you do whatever they do. So when they admit to a mistake, it's great because they're able to admit to a mistake and see that they flaw like the rest of us. But sometimes when people are watching you so close, they end up following you down that same rabbit hole. And I know you're like, man, that ain't nothing. That don't have nothing to do with me, man. Everybody's accountable for themselves. Yes, they are. But sometimes you have to be accountable for others. That's what leaders do. Great leaders stand up. So Demi Moore, I'm glad she admitted her mistake. She talked about her past and things that haunted her. And it might haunt her and cause her to have to get married again. I think Bruce Willis. Then after that didn't work, got married again to Austin Kutcher. So, things going on in her mind. So I just want to say, just pray for the young lady or the old lady, whatever, how old, I don't know how old she is now. Just pray for her. That's what we could do, all right? Because we all made some mistakes. We all made some mistakes that we could use a little prayer about or some forgiveness, especially me. So y'all pray for me too out there, all right? Keep me on the straight and narrow. The straight and narrow. All right, guys. And the last thing that we're going to have to talk about today is coming right up. Because first, I got to let you know to check us out at www.fortheonemedia.com. fortheonemedia.com. Check us out, man. We got businesses booming and people from all around the world are joining in on the movement. Well, we're more than a movement, but, we got to start somewhere. Because we're moving progressively throughout this world. Trust me. And the last thing I want to talk about, man, is the hate. Oh, man. I think about the hate of Carson King. I think about some people probably hate Demi more, maybe their own kids after that story. I don't know, but what I do know is the hate that people give is causing more hate in the world. And the funny thing about hate is when you, like my dad always says, it's no fun when the rabbit got the gun. When somebody been hating you so long and then you decide to fire back, they're like, what did I do? They do all that. Why do I deserve this? Well, I'm about to give you what you've been giving me for years. Yeah. But I just want to talk to y'all about that hate. For y'all that are hateful people out there, let's change the way we think. Let's change that hate in your heart. Let's try to get to the root of why you hate. I think it's important to know that you should never hate. And you're like, okay, and? The reason why you should never hate, because when you hate, there's something that happens in your mind that changes the way you think, and the way you look at the world is already altered. It's already in the wrong place. So we want to make sure that we take the time to really think about why we hate, what make us hate, and what can we do to change the hate. If you want to change that, if you want to be a hateful SOB, then you can be that, and it's okay. But if you want to rise above the hate to help change this world, like I see people that are hateful and they're like, this world is going down real fast. Well, you're a part of it. They be like, man, I don't understand why these people can't stand me at work, because you're hateful. Some people can't even see it. So y'all got to help people see the hate. And how you do this is give them facts and then let them see themselves and let them see that the more hate you give, the more hate you will receive. And it all starts with you. So I just want to briefly talk about that, because coming up in the next show, we're going to talk strictly about the hate people give, man. I just want to give y'all a little preview to the importance of why we shouldn't be hateful. The only thing we should hate is evil. Not people, but evil. There are a lot of evil deeds in the world, but people can be forgiven. Now, you're still going to have to abide by the law. And if you break the law because of your hateful, evil self, we're going to put you in jail or death penalty. But you can be forgiven. And that's the whole point of hate. That's the whole point of why I want to talk about hate. Because I want to show the redemption for those who feel like hate is the way. And I'm going to show you how we can break the hate. So y'all stay tuned, guys, to the next show. It's going to be booming, because that's what we do here, guys. All right, hey, this is Demerious Nelson of the Red Tape Podcast. This is brought to you by For the One Media, where we move progressively forward in a conservative way. Y'all stay tuned, man, because if y'all out there hating, I'm going to show you why you're going to get some hate. All right? Peace.